a messy mind. Think I need to help you. Wanna burn together in a million ways. Now let me take the lead. Know you wanna play with me. Got secrets you might wanna see. You might wanna see. You might wanna. I know I'm not gonna regret this. Wanna get reckless, put you to the test, yeah. I know I'm not gonna regret this. I wanna get reckless. I wanna get reckless. I wanna get reckless. I wanna get reckless. Couldn't keep your poker face. But boy, you kept me waiting when I wanted to race. Sweet as hell, baby, you're a sugar rush. I knew you were giving, temptation was craving. You love it, you hate it. Now let me take the lead. Know you wanna play with me. Got secrets you might wanna see. You might wanna see. You might wanna. Lock the doors, zip it off. Kiss my neck when you want more. Scream your name deep in the night. Work your way around my thighs. Explore my hips, not gonna lie. I scream your name, I shut it down, 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 down. I know I'm not gonna regret this. Wanna get reckless, put you to the test, yeah. I know I'm not gonna regret this.
What's the story, wrestling fans? Tonight's topics on the Wrestle Story include
Money in the Bank contestants announced.
Kofi to face Kevin Owens.
Hardy Boyz relinquished their tag team titles.
All that and more on tonight's Wrestle Story. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after Smackdown, every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view. However, we did not stream this week after Raw due to the fact that we did not get home until late, so we decided to wait and do Raw and Smackdown tonight.
Yeah, well, together and tonight. Yesterday I had an infusion, and so I had to go away.
Yes.
I had to go away. We were gone almost all day yesterday, so we got to watch Raw, but we got back so late that we did not do our regularly scheduled stream. I know, walk, walk, walk. But we're here tonight to recap both Raw and SmackDown, like you said. So, overall, both days, I prefer SmackDown. I preferred SmackDown from this week, personally. I think it was better than Raw. And if I'm being... I'll wait just a second before I talk about Money in the Bank.
Well, I think that right now, because SmackDown is only 2 hours long, I think it's, beating Raw because, well, right now the storylines just are not good. I think that the ratings are showing that they're not good, as ratings have been very low. I think this is the lowest they've been on a Monday night football in a really long time.
Yeah. Well, I just didn't like Raw this week. I don't know. Like you said, I think it might have had to do with storyline wise, but I just didn't. It didn't mesh well. I felt. There were a lot of I don't want to say pointless matches, but pointless matches, I guess. And so it was a little difficult to get into. And I felt that's why I said I felt SmackDown was better, because I feel like SmackDown, I could get into SmackDown a little bit more.
Well, and I think right now the issue, again, the issues they're having is they're not building storylines, they're not developing things, and so people are losing interest.
I will talk about that in just a couple minutes with a few different storylines. So with that being said, we're going to talk about Raw first, because it did happen first. Yeah. So the show opened, Raw opened with Alexa, and she came out to tell us who the 4 men in the Money in the Bank match from Raw, who they were going to be. And the first one she brought out was Braun Strowman. What did you think? Would you like to have seen Braun Strowman put in this match? Yes or no?
Well, I think he needs to be in it. However, with the way things are right now, I don't think he's going to win it.
He's a former, he's already won it once.
Well, I think it's all about a token. Here, we're going to throw out Braun Strowman, and we're going to see how the fans react. And I don't think that right now you've had him all over the map on storylines, and now you're going to throw him into a serious storyline
where he's in Money in the Bank.
Yeah. So I just don't see.
Yeah. So. I didn't hate the fact that he was put in, because I would much rather see him put in over someone like Cesaro. I know was one that was kind of thrown out there as who might potentially be in the match. And I would prefer to see Braun Strowman in over Cesaro, in my opinion. So, I'm okay with him being in the match. It's not a big deal. Then we have Ricochet. I'm glad he's in this match. I'm very glad he's in this match.
Well, and I think they're trying to capitalize off of the fact that him and Aleister Black did get a little bit of pop.
Yeah.
However, again, if you look at who's coming in from the Raw side, he is like the smallest of the 4. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know. I don't understand what they're doing.
Personally, I think it's a good thing he's put in this match. We will kind of get to see more of that, maybe some like crazy stunts with ladders, because he does like the high-flying flippy stuff.
I agree.
So I think we could see some good stunts done with that.
I agree. I think that with
where he does them off the ladder. Sorry, that's the point I'm trying to get across.
I think you're going to see some of that, but you're not going to see that out of Braun Strowman.
No.
You're not going to see that out of Drew McIntyre.
Maybe possibly like some jumping off the ladders, but he's not going to do any flippy cool stuff.
No, and you're not going to see it out of Baron Corbin.
No.
So if the whole idea is to like have, the high flying stunts coming out of it, then Ricochet is one that should be in. However, I think they probably should have looked at putting more athletic type people in from Raw.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so real quick, with that being said, Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin are the other two. I knew Drew Corbin. I knew Drew Corbin was going to be in this match. I knew Drew McIntyre was going to be in this match. It just made sense. Baron Corbin, we were sitting there and we were watching it, and you were like, they're going to put Baron Corbin in. They're going to put Baron Corbin in the match.
I told you he was going to be in before they announced it.
And I was like, oh, I would hate that. So
but
But then they put him in the match, and I was like, well, this is trash. So, who would you put in from the 4 guys on Raw? Who would you put in instead? If you were to switch someone out, who would you put in their place?
I don't know, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know who I'd put in. I think what they should have done was had matches to determine who is your Money in the Bank contestants.
We have 3 weeks left till Money in the Bank. So.
I think it would have made it a lot more interesting if they had matches to determine who was in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And, I think that the fans would have liked it a lot more if they had done it that way.
Yeah.
And they could have created some storylines, over the next 3 weeks, leading up to Money in the Bank with, whoever was in the matches.
Yeah.
So
those are the 4 competitors who are going into Money in the Bank from Raw. Then Drew and Corbin, they start to kind of argue with each other, and they're being like, ooh, like last week you took my opportunity from going and getting a chance to face Seth Rollins because you stabbed me in the back, and la-di-da-di-da, and this, that, and the other thing. And so they're arguing with each other, and Drew tells me you're not going to take my opportunity at Money in the Bank, like you did last week, and then Ricochet starts to talk about how he wants the Money in the Bank briefcase. Drew essentially towers over him, and is like, excuse me, you're the lowest on the totem pole. You were the smallest out of all of us. Shut your face. And I don't like that. I don't like that they're treating Ricochet as just the small guy now. I mean, yes, he's small compared to Drew McIntyre, but to the other guys that are standing in the ring, I mean, Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin, I guess, or Drew and Braun. He's smaller compared to Drew and Braun. He's
even a lot smaller than Baron Corbin, though.
I know, but I hate the fact that they're putting him in the, he's just the small guy position. Well, because he's so much more than that.
They've kind of set that up and made it that way.
Well, I just don't like it.
Well, you might not like it, but that's the way they set it up. And so,
I know, I'm just saying. I dislike the fact that that's the direction that they're going with him, is that he's just the small guy in this match, and don't think anything of him. Well, maybe that's what they want to do, and then they shock everybody and he's the one who wins. Smallest guy ends up getting the win.
Well, he might. I mean, the Smackdown contestants aren't real, like,
great
overall aren't
either.
big people. So, I mean, it's going to be an athletic match as far as who they have in it. It's just that I think having the three in it kind of limits some of the things that you can do with them.
Yeah.
With McIntyre, Corbin, and Strowman.
Yeah. So Ricochet then starts to talk about the Money in the Bank briefcase. Drew towers over him, tells him, hey, you're the small guy on the totem pole here. Shut your face. Braun then chimes in and tells them all to shut up because at Money in the Bank, it's going to be Monster in the Bank. And then he says that since you two, Corbin and Drew, like to hang together, you guys are working so well together today, then why don't we just have ourselves a tag team match between you two and Ricochet and myself? Then that gets into the Ricochet and Braun versus Corbin and Drew match. Good match overall. I mean, for the most part, it was a lot of back and forth, which is, cool. Ricochet did some cool flippy trick things. Braun threw some people around. Corbin and McIntyre, just stop pairing them together. Especially now with the whole storyline angle of them not being friends and not wanting to work together. Just, with the way that's working out, just let it play out. Just let them split up.
They could have had matches to determine who's going into the Money in the Bank. There's 4 matches right there they could have had. And it probably would have drew more interest than, oh, wow, these are the 4 contestants. Now they're going to fight each other.
Well, I was excited to see who they were going to put in, and then after they announced him, I was kind of like, I don't like that. So the tag team match, Braun and Ricochet end up getting the win over Corbin and Drew. Now we're getting into another tag team match. We have the Usos versus the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They made it on TV this week, you guys. Wow. Shocked. I actually really like them. I think they're a good tag team. And they have been moved from SmackDown to Raw. Yet another week of shakeups.
Well,
the shakeup continues.
When they talk about shakeup, because of the way they're doing it, I don't know that, it really matters. Because they don't keep anybody on the same brand. They move people around so much.
Which is what people are... that's the joke. What shakeup?
Well, it is.
The shakeup was 2 weeks ago.
I mean,
The actual superstar shakeup was 2 weeks ago.
But
they're still moving people around, and they're putting them on different brands. This is the second week that they've done that.
But the thing is I've said that they should just,
I know what you said.
I know you
said they just need to do cross-promotion,
cut out
which
some
is
of the
fine,
titles and do cross-promotion.
But when they talk about the superstar shakeup and then 2 weeks later, or the week after, they're still moving someone from SmackDown to Raw or Raw to SmackDown, and then the week after that, we get another tag team switching around. Then why don't you just have it being like, oh, look, it's a new team on the Raw scene. They were moved to SmackDown. Just forget the superstar shakeup. entirely and let them roam freely, which goes back to your point of having, going from brand to brand. What's the purpose of the Superstar Shakeup if you're just going to move them anyways, when it's not the Superstar Shakeup?
No, and I agree. I think that they need to stop doing that and just say, okay, this is the WWE, and you may have people on Raw.
It can be WWE anyways. It's not like Raw and SmackDown are two separate brands from WWE. Because they are, but they're not. It's all under WWE. So you have Raw and you have SmackDown, and you have your rosters split up the way you want them to be. But then this one week, okay, we could see a match between Bayley and Sasha on Raw or something. And then the week after that, we could see Sasha going on SmackDown to face Billie Kay or whatever. They can have their brands separated. But then, like you've said, they just do the cross-promotion. They have their set brand that they're on. But they can go between because it doesn't matter. If that's what they're going to do anyways.
Should do the go-between and not worry about brands.
Well, you can't not worry about brands because if you don't have Raw and SmackDown, you don't have two television shows.
Well, you have Raw and SmackDown, but you're not going to worry about where your wrestlers are.
Oh, well, whatever. I mean, that works too. But I think it'd be easier if you just had, you have your rosters, but they just go back and forth.
That's what they're doing.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying. So what's the purpose of the Superstar Shakeup?
So I don't know.
There's no purpose. That's my point.
Oh.
So the Usos get the win in this tag match, and then after the match, they tell us they have a little video to show us, and the video is of Dash and Dawson shaving each other's backs back in the locker room.
It was, yeah. Again, I don't know why they had to do it this way, but
I mean, it was kind of comedic, but it also was just kind of weird. Like, why are we putting the Revival in that situation? They're already terrible enough.
Well, and
is that the whole point? Is to make them look extremely bad and make them the laughing stock of the roster? Is that what we're going for, or?
Well, I think it's a way to get heat on creating a rival between the two of them.
But they already have a rivalry between the two of them, so
but
why?
You want to tell a storyline, and you want to make it bigger, and so you do things outside the box to try and draw interest.
I mean, I will say it is outside the box, and it was weird, but
it is, and I think that the way they did it was okay. I mean, it could have been done a little better. I think.
So the video
they could have changed it up a little bit, but hey, whatever. They did it that way, and so be it.
The video is shown, and then the Revival comes out and takes offense to the video and makes remarks, and is like, that is private property. That is private. Why are you showing that to the people? Yeah, I shave his back. He shaves my back. We're partners. We're wrestling buds. This is what we do. And they go on and on about that. And then we get MITB with Bobby Lashley. No Lio Rush.
Lio Rush is now going to be on NXT. Rumors are that he had bad backstage relationships.
I heard he, I don't remember if it was Finn Bálor or who it was that he, messed with backstage and had issues with. I know he had a lot of issues with a lot of different people. So, I mean, it really just, it really, it's not good.
No.
So,
So, anyway, Bobby Lashley comes out.
As of right now, Lio Rush is still under the Raw brand. So, I mean, we'll just have to see what happens over the next several weeks to see if he does get moved or if it's, just rumors or if it's what it is.
Yeah. Basically, Lashley says that he's going to kind of dictate the questions. He'll answer the questions the way he wants to. Mm-hmm. Answer the questions that he wants to answer. And then
he started talking about himself in the third person. Yeah. Bobby Lashley likes this. Bobby Lashley, blah blah blah. And I was like, this is why you can't cut your own promos.
Well, and then The Miz. The funny thing was, The Miz pointed it out. So you always talk about yourself in the third person. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Apparently you do. So then they start asking questions, and he was like, so what have you done, Bobby Lashley? And he was like, Bobby Lashley wants to know what The Miz has done. And Miz was like, really? really? And then he went on this list of, I'm a former tag team champion. I'm a former WWE champion. I'm a former this, that, and the other thing. Blah, 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 blah. I have a TV show. I have my own movies. And what do you have? And then he started talking about his baked potato-faced father. And Miz took offense. And he attacked Lashley, which then led into Miz versus Lashley after we came back from the commercial break. More impromptu matches. Cool. Lashley ends up getting the win after Shane O'Mac comes down and distracts the Miz. So this is not over. This is not over.
No, we didn't figure
Not yet.
it though.
Well, I wasn't sure if they were going to cool it off for now and drag it out till SummerSlam or what the deal was going to be. I mean, I know
It's going to be
SummerSlam
over at Money in the Bank.
I hope so.
So anyway, Shane McMahon is distracting the Miz, basically causing problems throughout the match, which leads to Lashley getting the win.
Yeah.
Shane then attacks the Miz after the match is over.
He puts him to sleep.
Yeah, puts the Miz to sleep. And then later in the show, the Miz challenges Shane McMahon to a match.
A steel cage match at Money in the Bank.
Is why I think this will be the end of this feud, because I have a feeling that Shane McMahon's going to jump off the top of the cage and
die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Potentially. I mean, it's always a possibility.
So
who knows? We'll see. So there's another match set for Money in the Bank. So now we have the Seth and AJ, we have Becky and Lacey, we have Becky and Charlotte, we have the Money in the Bank men's match, Money in the Bank women's match, and then Miz and Shane, and another match that we'll talk about in a little bit. So next we have the Viking Raiders versus Lucha House Party. So I hate to spoil this, you guys, but they don't have a new name change, and I'm a little disappointed. Because I thought that was the thing.
Well, name change. Why did they have them fighting the Lucha House Party again?
Okay, so actually, it is the same thing we saw last week, only last week was not a match. It was just them demolishing Lucha House Party. This week, they turned it into a match, and they demolished Lucha House Party once again. So, good question. Why are we doing this again? Why are we putting the Viking Raiders up against the Lucha House Party, which is half their size? They're
well, if the whole idea is to gain, viewers and try and promote, WWE and trying to have better ratings, this is part of the reason that they're having issues right now.
They were in good matches the first 2 weeks, and then the last 2 weeks, they've been against Lucha House Party. Well, of course they're going to throw, them around like a piñata.
But it's not just about the Viking Raiders and who they're wrestling against. It's about creating storylines, and they're not doing that. This storyline against the Lucha House Party, if this is the plan to use the Lucha House Party, and they make a match at Money in the Bank where the Lucha House Party fights the Viking Raiders...
They're not going to do that.
Then, it's just dumb planning.
They're not going to do that.
Because, who knows? I mean, I didn't think they'd have them wrestling again this week. And they did.
Well, okay. I don't have anything against Lucha House Party, but quite honestly, go back to 205 Live.
Well, and that's the biggest issue is you have...
Go back to 205 Live.
You have guys that should be wrestling 205 Live guys.
Question. Okay. So, sorry, this is going off topic for just a second because I mentioned 205 Live, and I'm kind of a little aggravated. So, Buddy Murphy got moved to Smackdown Live, okay? Cedric Alexander got to make his debut, 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Buddy Murphy?
Who knows? Again, they bring talent around, move talent around, and they don't have a clue what they're going to do with them. They cut all these promos.
I don't care if they're in dark matches. That doesn't matter. You want them to be on TV. Like you said, they made a big deal out of the promos and stuff, where Buddy Murphy was like, I'm going to be the next greatest thing or whatever, here on SmackDown Live. Where is he? Nowhere to be found.
But the thing, like I said, they don't use their talent. Dark matches, as far as I'm concerned, don't matter. Because nobody's seeing it other than the fans that are at the arena. Mm-hmm. And, you get someone that posts on Twitter hey, so-and-so was in a dark match at this, or was seen on this or that or whatever.
That's what they've been doing with EC3 is putting them in dark matches.
I don't understand
Raw.
why they're not using the talent they have. They have plenty of time. You have a 3-hour show. You have a 2-hour show. Use your talent. You know? You can alternate weeks. If you want to have a Roman Reigns storyline, do it this week. Skip having him in a storyline, you know, or on the show the next week, because it all builds up. You have enough talent to create storylines, to create interesting storylines, and they just aren't doing it. And so, you know, this is why they're having issues with getting good ratings.
Yeah.
Because you watch the show and there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, until they figure out how to fix that, they're going to continue to have issues.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I just thought I'd put that out there because I was just kind of curious. Who knows? But the Viking Raiders end up getting the win by using their finishing move, the Viking Experience. Doesn't that sound familiar? Have we heard that somewhere?
Yes.
Corey Graves, he was on commentary and he was like, oh yeah, the Viking Raiders put him away with the Viking Experience. And I was like, huh? Did you just screw up their name? Because they've had so many name changes. And then I realized it was their finishing move and I was like, you couldn't have just done that in the first place.
Yeah. Yep.
Called them the Viking Raiders and then have the Viking Experience be their finishing move. Vince was like, no, we're going to make them the Viking Experience. And then he decided, no, I don't like that. Make that your finishing move. We're gonna change your name. People don't like that either. Viking Raiders, so much better.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
So,
Women's Money in the Bank contestants, Naomi, Natalya, Dana Brooke, and Alexa Bliss announces herself as a contestant. You know, none of these names
I don't care.
really make me go wow.
Where is Ruby Riott? Where is Sarah Logan? From
knows?
Raw, okay? I have nothing against Natalya and Dana Brooke, but why? I understand the whole thing with Dana Brooke feels like she's underprivileged and she wants to be used more and blah, 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 and that was their whole storyline thing with Ronda Rousey. And I get that, but no. She's not going to win. Everybody knows she's not going to win. Why is Natalya in this match? Natalya's been in the Money in the Bank match 3 years in a row now? Or 2 years in a row? 3 years. 3 years. And she hasn't won. She's not being used regularly. Why are we putting her in the match? It's not like it's going to make a difference. Put someone in there, like Ruby Riott or Sarah Logan, who has a potential to be a really big star if they put them out there. But they're not.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's
my opinion. I just feel like I'm over Alexa Bliss. I don't like her anymore. I used to be able to, stand her, and I thought she was kind of cool, but now not so much.
Well, again, they could have done the same thing with the women, as they did the men, and have a match to determine who's going to make it.
I knew. When she was going to announce that last competitor, I was like, she's going to announce herself, isn't she? She's going to do it. She's going to announce herself in the match.
Yep.
And then she did.
Yep.
And I was like, the only one that sparks any interest in my mind from this match is Naomi. And that's it. The other three could care less.
Yeah.
I'm over Alexa, and I don't get why Natalya and Dana are in this match whatsoever.
Cool.
So it makes me not interested in this match whatsoever because of the competitors that they chose.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad choice. It's something that, they're going to have to figure it out.
And quite honestly, SmackDown Live doesn't get much better. But we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So I don't know. I'm just over it. Then we have Becky and Lacey. And boy, oh boy. This segment I thought was good. I thought this was probably one of the best segments out of Raw, if I'm being completely honest. And that's not me being Becky biased. This is me being legit serious. Raw was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So this is probably one of the best segments on tonight's show. So Becky got an interview in the ring, and she gets asked, why did you decide to do Double DD at Money in the Bank? Wouldn't that be kind of dangerous? She says, being the double champ, I can either protect what I have or defend it. All I know how to do is fight, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Lacey comes out, she does her spiel on, oh, I'm the lady, and you're like a man, and you want to fight, and blah, 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 blah. And then she tells Becky that she's, like, ready to fight her or something, and she like, pulls off her skirt, because it, like, detaches, and she, like, pulls her skirt off, and then she runs at Becky and, like, throws a punch at her. I'm like, dude. This is where her gimmick, to me, makes no sense. If she wants to talk about, I don't know about anybody else out there, but if she wants to talk about sitting there, acting like a lady, and doing what she does like a lady, why are you throwing the first punch? That's what I want to know.
Well, she could always say that, I can attack or be attacked. And so...
But she's not, which is why it makes no sense to me right now at this point, where she's supposed to be attacking Becky's the man character, but she's not acting any different. I understand it's wrestling, and she's going to get in the ring and wrestle, but this is where, from a gimmick standpoint, it makes no sense to me. I understand the lady versus the man. It makes perfect sense. But with the way they're doing it, where she's being the one to take punches at Becky first, that's not acting like a lady. I'm sorry. It's not. So that's where it makes no sense to me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It doesn't make any sense to me from that standpoint.
I don't know. I think it's
where
all,
she's throwing the first punches.
Well, but if they let Becky throw the first punches all the time, is that what you want? I mean, do you want to see Becky throwing the first punch all the time?
No, but what I'm saying is the only thing that they have been doing is Lacey is throwing the first punch. That's the only thing they're doing. Lacey has come out week after week over the last 3 or 4 weeks, throwing punches at Becky, knocking Becky down, making Becky look weak.
Well, it's not about making Becky look weak. They're trying to build up Lacey right now.
Well, it's not going very well.
Well, that's the whole idea, is to build her up.
It's not working very well. She's not getting, like, any crowd reaction. The closest thing to a crowd reaction she's getting is the what chants. And that's it. Nobody's cheering for her. Nobody's booing for her. It's not working.
Are they booing for anybody or cheering for anybody? No, they're not.
Becky's getting more reaction than she is.
She's got some reaction, but if you've watched the last couple weeks of Raw and SmackDown, yeah, you got some Becky chants.
I know her reactions have been getting less and less. I know. I will agree with that.
Reaction out of the fans.
No, but I'm saying she's getting more reaction than Lacey is at all.
Well, she should, because she's established. I mean, if you've been around for a year, you should be the one that's, like, getting the pop. You have a newcomer coming in. You should have your main star should be getting the pop, whether it's positive or negative. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be her job to help bring along Lacey Evans.
Yeah. But it's not working. That's the thing.
It might not. We'll see. A lot of people got tired of Lacey Evans coming out and just walking around the ring and doing everything that way.
And now they're tired of her coming out punching Becky in the face week after week.
Well, it's going to lead up to something. We'll see what happens.
So they end up, after she's done with her whole lady spiel, she talks about wanting to fight her. The two are brawling, and they're fighting till they get pulled apart. But I thought that was the most hilarious thing was, they've been going back and forth on Twitter for several weeks now, and Becky yells at her, because there was a tweet where Lacey was talking about making a sandwich for her husband or something like that. And so Becky goes, why don't you go make me a sandwich? Why don't you go make me a sandwich? Go make me a sandwich. And I thought it was the funniest thing, and there have been memes all over Twitter all day, and I thought it was hilarious. And then she, apparently on Twitter, Becky's calling her a plank, and Lacey decided today to call her I don't even remember what it was. Trying to figure out what a straw is, because I don't have a clue. So, it was funny. Twitter's great. So then we get another pretty pointless match.
Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
Your Raw Tag Team Champions.
The Revival for the 9,374th time.
Yep. They gotta defend their titles against someone. Not the Revival.
why do they keep doing this? I mean, it's like the same match over and over and over and over again.
You got me. It's very put Ryder. I mean, I know we've seen Ryder and Hawkins versus the Viking Experience, but if you're gonna build him up to become a champion, to take the tag champs on in a match for the titles, then why not? Like, I don't know. I don't have a clue who they're gonna have go against Ryder and Hawkins next. I have no idea at this point. Could be the Usos. It could very well be the Viking Raiders. I don't know.
Who knows? But this is why the ratings are low, because they have the same thing over and over again.
So, Ryder and Hawkins get the win over the Revival. The whole match, the Revival is getting shave your back chance.
Yes.
And so, I guess whatever WWE is trying to do, it worked. They were trying to get them to chant something for the Revival. But, same match we've seen a billion times. Then we get Sami Zayn out once again for, the 70th time in 3 weeks. This is what he does now. He cut a You People promo. He was telling the people that they suck and stuff, as usual. So, I don't know what they're going to do with him. I have no idea.
Well, again, this is another one of those things that they keep doing over and over again. They haven't shown any direction on where they're going with it.
Yeah.
Outside of him just telling the people they suck. People are getting tired of watching this over and over again. They need to do something with it. Mm-hmm. Whether they have, some wrestler come out of the stands and say, we don't suck and now I'm going to destroy you. Or, do some storyline with it and make it interesting. Yeah. Because right now it's starting to get old, just like, this is why the ratings have not been good. This is why they've been lower than the lowest they've been in a long, long time. Mm-hmm. Because it's just over and over again the same thing with really no storyline, no idea where they're going with it. And so I think people are starting to get tired of it.
So next we have Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe.
Again.
They keep recapping to the awful match at WrestleMania that was 60 seconds. If even that. The Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio match at WrestleMania. Not even worth my time. But they keep recapping that. And backstage, before this match, there was a promo with Rey and his son Dominic. Once again, he's back. And so my theory is that they are going to lead into Samoa Joe, attacking Dominic, whether it be verbally or physically, I don't know which, but Samoa Joe always gets these type of storylines, I've noticed. He had one with AJ Styles. I can't even remember anyone else. AJ Styles sticks out in my mind because that was, one I remembered so vividly. So he normally gets those types of storylines, as it seems. So, I'm very much so expecting them to go in that direction where they get Dominic involved somehow. They already kind of are with him being in the backstage
The thing
segments.
is, if they're going to do it, then do it, and don't, draw this out, forever. Again, they're drawing these matches out, or these feuds, out forever, and there's no storyline to it. There's nothing to it. Well, and so, do something with this if you're going to. Otherwise, drop it and send Samoa Joe against someone else and start creating something with him in some other aspect. Because right now, there's just no... Do you have any clue where the storyline is going?
Me?
Yeah. Other than, maybe they're going to include Dominic in this. Well, okay.
That's what I said. That's the only reason I could see them continuing with this and why they've been showing Dominic backstage. Because they hadn't been using him before he started his feud with Samoa Joe back at WrestleMania. So, to me, that would be what makes the most sense for Rey Mysterio, is to have his son get involved when he's doing the feud with Samoa Joe over the U.S. title.
Yeah, they might. I don't know, but they need to get on with the storyline.
Maybe they're going to have a match at Money in the Bank, and that's when they get Dominic involved. I don't know. but that would make most sense to me.
Yeah.
As to where they were going with it. So then we get the final segment of Raw, which is the Seth Rollins and AJ Styles contract signing. And you know when there's going to be a contract signing on TV, you know what's going to happen. Someone's going to get thrown into a table. And that is what happened. So everything was going fine and dandy, and, you know, it was going super well. You know, they were just going back and forth, and AJ was saying how, you know, Seth, I know you think everybody's told you that you're going to be the new AJ Styles, and this, that, and the other thing, but you will never compare to me, and you will never be me. And Seth is like, well, I don't want to be you. I want to be Seth freaking Rollins, not AJ Rusty Styles. I mean, you know, that's not what I want. And then after they kind of get through that, AJ picks up his title. AJ picks up Seth's title. And he then, like, stands in front of him. I'm going to sneeze. I can feel it. Told you. AJ picks up Seth's title and hands it to him, and then he was, like, gonna, like, shake his hand, I guess, or something. And AJ, like, stuck his hand out. And then Seth held his title up above his head and was like, I'm the champ, fool. And AJ started to walk away, but then he turned around and attacked Seth Rollins. Wow, shocker. Wasn't expecting that at all. And then Seth kind of got thrown in the table. He, like, got up, tried to retaliate just a little bit, and then AJ hit the phenomenal forearm off the top rope, and that's kind of what we were left with. So did AJ just go heel? Is that what they just did there?
I don't know, because you really don't know who the heels are and who the baby faces are.
Seth is a babyface. 100% in this situation, Seth is the babyface.
Oh, it might be. We'll see.
So I'm kind of thinking they just turned AJ
the fans
heel.
will kind of determine that, so we'll see what happens.
So with that now being said, that is Raw. Everything that happened on Raw. Not great. Like I said, the best segment out of the show was probably the Becky and Lacey thing, and then close second would be Seth Rollins and AJ contract signing. Everything else was pretty much mediocre and wasn't great. So now we have Smackdown, and Smackdown started off with Kofi, and Kofi came out, and we get a recap of when he won the title at WrestleMania, and how great it was, and how, woohoo, Kofi Mania, baby. And then he talks about how he was the New Day was the impossible. They were the impossible, but the impossible became possible. And then we get a recap of Kevin Owens turning on the New Day last week. And he talks about how, you know, New Day was a brotherhood and he didn't have to do that and blah, 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 blah. And if Kevin wanted a match, all he had to do was ask. And so then he goes on to say that's why...
I'm going to go run the dog out real quick.
Okay, I'll be here then. Sounds good. I'll continue talking. So then Kevin, whoa. Kofi, you know, is like, if Kevin wanted a match, all he had to do was ask. Because I would have given him a match. And so, with that being said, that is why, at Money in the Bank, why don't we just have ourselves a match? I'm challenging you to a match at Money in the Bank, Kevin. Kevin then comes out, and he accepts the challenge, and then goes on to talk about how, you know, you might have had your WrestleMania moment. It was all fine and dandy, and it was good for you. Great. Thoughts on the Brock Lesnar stuff? 1 second. I will talk about that in 1 second. Just a second. I'm going to wait for Mr. Gleen to come back, because I kind of want to hear his thoughts on it. I kind of, like, mentioned to it briefly right before we started, but I didn't, like, get to, you know, say much. So we'll talk about that in just a second when he gets back. But, you know, he says, you know, essentially, Kofi, everybody knows now that you're really not championship material. You never were. You had your WrestleMania moment, all fine and dandy, but now it's time to move on, and we need a new champion. And he was like, see, just listen to the people. All of them want a new champion. And the crowd boos. They're like, nah, Kevin Owens, whatever. And then, you know, he kind of starts to rag on Kofi and the New Day. And then Xavier Woods comes and attacks Kevin Owens from behind. And Kevin Owens then super kicks Woods in the face, leaving Woods laying there on the floor. And Kofi then comes out of the ring and runs up the ramp and is like, "Oh, I'm here to save you, bud." But before he can get to Kevin Owens, he runs off, and we are left with Xavier Woods and Owens. Xavier Woods and Kofi sitting there on the floor. He's just kind of consoling him, like making sure he's okay, and then we go to commercial break. Ever so lovely. And when we come, right before that, we have Bayley's entrance, and then go to commercial break, and up next we have Becky and Bayley. I was kind of surprised to see how early in the show this was, if I'm being honest, because I thought it was going to be pushed out a little more and be like in the second hour of the show, because generally that is where Becky is put. In recent weeks, that's where she's been put anyways. So, we get a good match between Becky and Bayley. It kind of there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of like close pinfalls, I guess, is what you would call that. But at one point in the match, Bayley, I don't know what Bayley did. I think she like hit Becky in the knee or something like that. And then we had Becky like holding her knee, and I was like, "Oh great, not this again. Let's not do this." And then she kind of, whether it was like faking or whatever, just like Bayley out. She kind of got back up, and then she did it again later in the match. And so I was kind of like, "Oh, lovely. Why are we doing that again? Not cool." So ultimately, Becky ends up getting the win. I wasn't for sure if she was going to get the win or not. I was hopeful that she was going to, but I wouldn't have been shocked if they put Bayley over and had her win then. But Becky ended up getting the win, so super cool. And then after that, ever so lovely, we get Miss Charlotte Flair, who comes out and attacks Becky from behind. After this, I got up and screamed, and I said, "Seriously? Can we not get an episode of Smackdown without Charlotte Flair on it? Let's be honest. Apparently we can't, because, that's just the way that goes." You okay? Knocking some stuff over? Charlotte. I just don't like Charlotte. So I was waiting for you to come back, because thoughts on Brock Lesnar stuff, with Brock Lesnar retiring from MMA and possibly being at the Saudi show. Thoughts on that?
Well, as long as they don't make him champion, okay.
He can just go away. Like, quite honestly, just retire. If you're going to retire from MMA, personally, I feel we don't need him. We got enough talent on the roster that's good, and so just go away. We don't need you anymore.
Well, again, as long as
as much as I feel like
I don't have him. I don't have a problem with being in.
But like, he really isn't. Nobody likes him.
The problem is, I don't have a problem with him being in WWE.
I do. I just think he should go.
Well, you have a problem with him because he was champion and they kept him as champion, and he was never on TV. Exactly. So as long as they're going to use him, it's no different than the Undertaker.
But
he shows up once every 17 months.
You know that Brock Lesnar would not agree to that, would he? Let's be honest.
Well, if he decides...
Would Brock do that? Would he be like, "Okay, well, I'll show up on TV every now and again, but, I'm not champion, so what's the point?"
Well, even if he doesn't show up on TV, I mean, if they want to have him show up at pay-per-views, I'm cool with that. Just don't make him the champion.
I don't want him to see the champion, and quite honestly, I've seen enough of his ugly face. I don't need to see it anymore. So I prefer if he just, goes. So.
He would be a perfect one to have Lars Sullivan come in and destroy.
He would, but he would never agree to it.
Well, he might not. But if you're going to use him, then, use him to destroy, use him as the one that's going to get destroyed by Lars Sullivan.
It would be all fine and dandy, and it would put Lars over big time, but I don't think he would ever agree to it, ever. Like, if I'm being honest.
Well, he might not. I don't know.
Because it doesn't benefit Brock Lesnar, so he's not going to care.
Well, obviously he agreed to lose the title.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
And if he's going to stay with WWE...
Just go away. Just go away. So, yeah, that's kind of the thoughts on that. I'm like, I don't care about Brock Lesnar. Just go away. I don't need to... So many other people. We don't need him, But I was talking about Becky and Bayley. Becky versus Bayley. Becky got the win, and then Charlotte attacked Becky from behind. Thoughts on that?
No, I mean, other than it's just, again, it's the same stuff happening over and over again.
This is the first match Becky and Bayley have had since NXT.
Well, I'm talking about the way they're dealing with this.
Oh, no. I'm just saying. I was just putting that out there, that this is their first match that they've ever had together on the main roster.
Yeah.
Like, since NXT. I was just putting that out there.
Which I think is good. I mean, it gives you fresh...
I'm kind of shocked that they haven't...
matches.
This is their first match on the main roster together. I mean, they've been on separate brands for several years at this point, and so, I mean, I guess they haven't had the opportunity to face each other, which is crazy, but, cool. It was a good match, like I said. A lot of back and forth, but Becky ended up getting the win and Charlotte attacked.
Oh, definitely. I think it's good for... It's good when they have the fresh side of, having fresh matches.
Darn, if only Sasha had come out of somewhere, and then we'd have the 4 horsewomen in the ring.
Yes.
Very disappointed. Very disappointed. So next we get an Aleister Black promo. Another one of those creepy-horrific promos. He should. Oh man, he's so cool.
Here's the thing that worries me with him.
What?
They have no clue what they're doing with him, and they're going to use him like they've used some other wrestlers, where all they do is cut promos and they don't ever have him get in the ring.
You can't not have him get in the ring. He's so good. Why would you?
Why? You tell me. Why do you have wrestlers cut promos if you're not going to use them?
What are they doing with Bray Wyatt?
Well, huh?
What are they doing with Bray Wyatt?
I don't know, but he's
Exactly.
coming back. So I mean, his is different. He's been out. He's coming back.
No, but he
But
could
think
be in the
about
ring right now, but he's not. He's backstage here doing these Firefly Funhouse videos.
Think about yes, but it's part of building a storyline.
I know, and what they're doing with Aleister Black is part of building a storyline. They're going to build him up to something.
Okay, but he's already been in there. It wasn't like he left and went somewhere, or was hurt and went somewhere.
No, but he was on Raw to begin with, and so they're reinventing his character on SmackDown.
Okay, but think about what they've done with some other wrestlers right now, and think about how they've done it, and what they've done with them, and you haven't seen them in the ring. They've cut promos, and they haven't been seen in the ring.
Who?
Think about it. Who looks in the mirror?
Mojo Rawley?
Yes.
But they weren't using him before anyways.
They weren't, but obviously they were going to do something with him.
And they haven't.
They had plans of doing something with him. And
well, then they got bigger plans. Then they got Bray Wyatt. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a clue.
That's what worries me with this Aleister Black thing is
I think
cutting
they're
promos.
Legitimately building up to something where he's going to come back and he's going to have reinvented his character.
With the way WWE is right now, who knows? I don't think they have a clue where they're going to go with him. I don't think they have any idea what they're going to do with him. So right now, to keep him out there, they're having him cutting promos.
Well, then just put him in matches.
Against who? Then you're gonna mess everything up with him by just throwing him out there against somebody just to have him in a match. This is all part of create storylines. I'm hoping that's what they're doing here.
If he's cutting promos backstage and he's not wrestling, then what is he doing?
What does anybody else think out there?
He's creating a storyline for himself. He's reinventing his character to get involved in a storyline with someone.
Okay.
That's what he's doing.
And I'm just saying, you've seen what they've done with some of the wrestlers recently with just cutting promos, and they haven't done anything with it. I'm hoping that's not what they're doing here. I hope they do use him. But, the way they've done things...
Well, this is only the second week that we've seen this.
It is. And you probably shouldn't see it a third or a fourth. They should be doing something with him.
Okay.
Other than just having him cut a promo.
Okay. Next we have the Hardy Boyz tag team title fate. What is the fate of their tag team titles? So I had read somewhere that Jeff was legitimately injured. And so now we don't know. I don't know if this is like storyline related or if this is like he is actually injured or what's happening. So Jeff gets asked what's happening with his leg, and he's like, well, I got an easy way to show you. So they show the video of Lars Sullivan attacking them from like 2 weeks ago. And that's apparently when he got injured, I guess. And then they say that because of Jeff's injury, we have to give up our tag titles. They never said they implied it. They implied that they're relinquishing their titles. They said they have to give them up. So Matt hands the titles over, and then Lars Sullivan comes out and attacks Matt. And Jeff is still standing there in the ring. He's like, and then Jeff looks as if he's gonna hit. I almost said Brock Lesnar because I saw the chat and it says Brock Lesnar. I almost said Jeff hit Brock. Looks as if he's gonna hit Brock Lesnar upside the head. Boy, oh boy, would I enjoy that. No, Jeff looked as if he was gonna hit Lars with his crutch, but then R-Truth came out of nowhere with a chair and hit Lars Sullivan in the back, so Jeff could roll out of the ring.
And Lars Sullivan just turned around and looked at him like, "What are you doing?"
He didn't even flinch.
And
It was like a pat on the back. You know?
R-Truth went to hit him again, and Lars Sullivan punched the chair, and then just proceeded to destroy R-Truth.
I think that match on the pre-show of Money in the Bank, because I kind of feel like this is where it's headed.
Probably. Why? I don't know.
Because I can't see it going anywhere else, aside from being like a match on the pre-show.
The thing is why are they going to do it?
I don't know.
Lars Sullivan's already destroyed R-Truth twice, at least.
Yes.
Why have a match?
I don't know.
I mean, and because you can't have him destroy R-Truth and then have him go into Money in the Bank and have a match at Money in the Bank.
Where he loses to R-Truth?
And, yeah.
That'd be
I mean,
terrible.
you can't.
It ruins this whole
You've already
gimmick.
made him look like he could just destroy everything. This is why I think that, Brock Lesnar would be perfect.
Here's what I said the other day, okay? This was if Lars Sullivan was going to be in the Money in the Bank match, okay? I said, all right, it looks as if we're going in the Kofi and Kevin Owens direction at Money in the Bank for the title, all right? Doesn't matter who wins that match. They go on to the next biggest pay-per-view that they would have, which would be SummerSlam. I mean, I know there's a couple pay-per-views in between there, but the next huge one, big talked about pay-per-view, would be SummerSlam. Money in the Bank, if Lars was in it, which he's not, disappointed, he would then win if they would go in this direction. He would win, and then at SummerSlam, whoever retained the title during the Kevin and Kofi match goes on to SummerSlam, and they face Roman Reigns for the title, because you can almost assume that's the direction they're going, and they're going to put the championship on Reigns, right?
Probably.
So, you have a match there, and, say it's Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns or whatever, and then at the end of the match, Roman Reigns ends up winning, he becomes the new champ, but then Lars Sullivan comes out, cashes in on a tired Roman, wins the title, and then that sparks a Lars and Roman feud.
Yeah, who knows?
Because I think that'd be kind of interesting.
I don't know. That's WWE would have to think too much for that, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, Lars isn't even in the match, so it can't
but I'm
happen.
just saying they would have to think too much for that. And right now they don't think.
Okay.
So
I was just saying. I mean, a Lars and Roman feud would be pretty cool.
I think you need to have Lars Sullivan destroy some legend at Money in the Bank.
Who?
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar isn't a legend? In whose mind?
Okay, well, just because you hate him doesn't mean that, he's
been in the business since 2002 or whatever.
And he has
that doesn't make him a legend, okay? Doesn't make him a legend.
Okay, but he has an image of being a bad dude, and so having
Who was
Lars Sullivan
by a tiny guy, Seth Rollins, at WrestleMania.
And the point is you could have him get destroyed by Lars Sullivan.
I guess, yeah, because like I said, it would put Lars Sullivan over, but I don't see that happening. Because I don't think Brock Lesnar would agree to it.
Probably not, but I'm just saying that, you want to make it look good, you want to make Lars Sullivan look big and bad, then that's the way to do it.
Exactly.
And then you could always tie in that you have Seth Rollins as the Beast Slayer, and you could set up a Lars Sullivan, Seth Rollins.
The issue with that is they're on two separate brands.
Okay, so what? You've seen they've switched brands. It doesn't matter what brands they're on.
Okay. So then we get the last 4 members in the men's Money in the Bank match. Okay, actually, hold on. Take a step back. During the Becky and Bayley match, Bayley was announced to be in Money in the Bank. Look, there's one great competitor who people were hoping was going to be in the match. Woohoo! She might very well be my pick to win. Just maybe. Who knows? The last 4 members in the men's Money in the Bank match are Andrade, Mustafa Ali, Finn Balor, and Mr. Randy Orton. Whoop-de-dingle-do.
I would say, based on the 8 that are in it,
I said there's 3 potential ways they could go.
I would say...
I know there's 8 potential ways they could go, but there are 3 potential ways that would make the most sense to me.
Well, Finn Balor's not winning it.
No, he wasn't my choice.
Randy Orton isn't winning it.
God, I hope not.
I would say...
Ali's not winning it.
No. Andrade potentially could.
I don't think Strowman's winning it.
Then I think all you have is Ricochet or Drew McIntyre.
Or Baron Corbin. As much as I would hate for Baron Corbin to win, I could very well see him winning too. And then he could gloat about being a 2-time, 3-time, however many time Mr. Money in the Bank. I don't care.
Thing is they could have, they don't need him to win because...
No, they really don't. But I could very well see them going in that direction because they're stupid.
They put him in everything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So the 3 that I had kind of picked off the top of my mind, but I guess there would be 4 technically. I said they could very well go with Drew and then do Drew and Seth. That would make a lot of sense to me because I feel like that was the direction I thought they could have been headed after WrestleMania. Obviously not, because now they're doing AJ Styles. So, I said Corbin, but that would be absolutely stupid. And then I said Andrade. Andrade was my first pick to begin with. I kind of wish Finn Balor wasn't in this match. And if I'm being honest, I kind of, I said from the very beginning, I said Andrade's probably going to be in the Money in the Bank match. Now that he is, but he's been having a feud with Finn Balor for the IC title. So why are we not doing that match at Money in the Bank and then putting 2 other guys in the match? I don't understand why Finn Balor is in this match. He's got the IC title. Why is he not defending it at Money in the Bank?
I don't know.
So to me, that makes no sense.
Nope.
Because the competitor that would make most sense to go against him would be Andrade, just because they have been building that up over the last 2 weeks.
But again, a lot of the stuff they're doing doesn't make sense.
So, who knows? But
it's like you said, that could have been another match. Finn Balor against somebody for the Intercontinental title.
Maybe they're trying to make their pay-per-view shorter.
Even if you want to make it shorter, you could have the 2 Money in the Bank matches and then have title matches.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be real long.
No, I guess
not. So I don't know. I think that, they don't have a clue what they're doing. And so they just threw Finn Balor out there and said, okay, he's going to be in the Money in the Bank. And obviously he's not going to win because he's already got a title. And
just makes sense. So, those would be the 3, Andrade, McIntyre, and Corbin. And then, even Ricochet. Ricochet could very well have a shot at winning if they're going to push him, big time for a big title. He could very well cash in on Seth Rollins, and it would be a good match.
Yeah.
If definitely. They do it right.
They have to do it right, though. That's the big thing, is doing it right.
Don't have him cash in, don't have him cash in on a tired Seth Rollins after he's already defended his title. Have him come out and say, hey, Seth, come out here. I want to cash in my Money in the Bank briefcase, and we're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned wrestling match.
Yeah.
And so then they have a good match.
Could be a good match.
So, that could very well be the way to go with that. I think that would be good. I think that would be a good thing to see. Andrade is... I'd like to see Andrade win, though. So, like I said, those are the 4 options, I think, that would make most sense out of there. But, then they'll, swerve us, and they'll have flipping Randy Orton win it or something, and we'll all be like, stupid, stupid, stupid.
So then we have Kairi Sane and Asuka versus 2 local
yokels. I put down Kairi Sane and Asuka versus
this is kind of
local yokels.
Again, why are they doing this?
I don't know. I don't even know who the 2 people in the ring were. They didn't even say their names. The last time the Iconics had a match against 2 locals, they actually told us their names, but these they didn't. So I don't know.
You have wrestlers on your roster, and then you pull just 2 people out of the stands and say, "Here, you're gonna wrestle."
I think
not that these 2 people were out of the stands, but you know what I mean.
I think they're going to do Kairi Sane and Asuka versus the Iconics at Money in the Bank for the tag titles, and then Kairi and Asuka are going to win them, and the Iconics are going to lose them.
If they win them, then they have to lose them. That makes a lot of sense.
I know. So I think that would make a lot of sense. But the Iconics were on commentary this whole time, and they were just like trash talking about Kyrie and Asuka. So, I mean, they should go in that direction. Because I'd like to see the belts put on Asuka and Zayn.
Yeah.
Asuka and Zayn. Wow, that would be a good tag team name for them.
Yeah.
Like Asuka and Zayn, but like Asuka and Zayn.
Yes.
Just Asuka and Zayn.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Sorry. WWE, why are you not hiring me? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I come up with good ideas.
So then you have Sonya and Mandy backstage. Basically, one of them's going to be picked for the Money in the Bank.
Mandy said that she was told by Shane that only one of them is going to be in the Money in the Bank match. Mandy says that Sonya should be in the match. Sonya then declines it and says Mandy should be in the match because she was so close to winning the Smackdown title earlier in the year. Why? Why is Mandy in this match?
I don't know.
Honestly, of the two, Sonya makes more sense. What are we doing? It's the blonde thing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It's true. Are we just... The blondes are out for Becky.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what they're doing.
Then we have...
I don't get it. Sonya makes a lot more sense than Mandy.
She does, but I mean...
And I thought they were splitting them up, but they apparently not doing that anymore.
Who knows what they're doing? I mean, it's I don't know. No one knows what anybody's doing because...
Prefer to see them split up.
They start a storyline or what looks like it's going to be a storyline and then they change it, so...
I wish Sonya was like, oh, yeah, sure. I'll be in Money in the Bank. Sure. I'd love to. I wish she did that.
Yep.
Because I would have much preferred that. This Money in the Bank match is literal trash.
Yep.
Just wait until you hear the last two competitors. One of the two of them isn't so bad. And I'm okay with. But the other one, I don't get it.
So then we have Roman Reigns comes out and basically says, you only have one shot to make a first impression. So he punched Vince McMahon.
Shane then comes out and does his regular intro. Has the guy, best in the world, Shane McMahon. Then he says, this might be your yard, but the McMahons own the land. Then he says, Roman says, no, your dad owns the land, not you. And your dad was laying in this ring last week, or 2 weeks ago. And then Shane reminds him, Roman, you were laying in that ring last week. And he said, Roman talks about how, I was laying in this ring last week because you and Elias, you teamed up on me. I'd like to see you come down here. Can you fight me on your own? Can you take me down on your own? Shane says, I'd love to, but I gotta go to somewhere and to a training facility or whatever so I can train for my cage match with Miz at Money in the Bank. So that is confirmed. He did kind of confirm that because it wasn't confirmed until he said that. And then he says, but I got two guys who would love to face you in a handicap match. And then he brings out the B team. Yet another shakeup. I'm shocked. And so the B team comes out from backstage, and then he says, you know what? Roman runs his mouth some more. He says, oh, lovely, handicap match. Why don't you just tie my hands behind my back or something, Come on, Shane, make it a little harder. And then he says, you know what? Your handicap match, I like that idea, but you want to raise the stakes a little bit? Well, you're going to have a guest referee enforcer outside the ring, and that's going to be, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. No. And then Elias comes out. And so then we get Roman versus the B team with Elias at ringside as the referee enforcer dude. So, cool. Whatever. I think we all knew who was going to win this match very clearly.
Well, there's a lot of interfering, a lot of the B team double teaming, or attempting to double team.
Yeah.
Elias interfering in the match, actually attacking Roman once or twice. And then, of course, I don't remember which one, but one of the B team members almost had Elias pinned.
Curtis Axel. It was Axel.
And Elias went for the count, and didn't count fast enough.
Kicked
Kicked out at 2, got up, and ended up getting the win.
After Roman had Superman punched him.
Yes.
And speared Axel. The ref came back in the ring. He got the 1, 2, 3, and all was happy. Ding. You know, I think the Roman and Elias match will be good. I actually wouldn't be shocked if they had Elias win.
Nah, me neither.
So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So next we have the Firefly Funhouse videos. And this is actually the same video they had on last night. I just forgot to write it down. So, essentially, he was, talking about his past and Bray. He was talking about his past and stuff. Then he needs to teach me some English.
Taught us how to spell sociopath.
Taught us how to spell sociopath, yes. And so, boy, teach me some English. Then I find this very odd at the end. At the end of his segment, I can't speak, every week, he says, "Remember my fireflies." Remember my fireflies. I'll light the way. Pause, long pause. You just have to let me in. He says it in his weird Bray Wyatt voice. Remember my fireflies. I'll light the way. You just have to let me in. And then he goes back to his happy self, and I'm like, boy, this dude is whack job. I don't have a clue. But that's a little gimmick, and it works.
Well, here's what I will say. I think that he has reinvented himself. Even though
Obviously.
I think he's using the crazy lunatic type way of doing this. He is showing that, he can play the Mr. Rogers type dude, or he can go to the other way and play the evil dark side dude.
I've got to find this real quick. There was a tweet that he put up. I think it was a tweet. Oh, here it is. It says, this is from Bray Wyatt. It says, a couple years ago, Randy Orton did some pretty bad stuff to me. He destroyed my temple, uncrowned me as the champion of the world, caused my brother to abandon me, and betrayed my trust. Worst of all, he didn't say he was sorry. But I forgive you, Randy Bobanders.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
Oh. So the craziness is continuing.
So, that's going back to when he did his Wyatt compound thing, his Wyatt match.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one that I thought was dumb, because that was the funny thing is that's one of the few pay-per-view things that I'd watched.
Actually watched. I was watching it in the kitchen, and you sitting there eating dinner or whatever, and so you saw it.
Yeah, before I started watching wrestling here in the last couple months.
I know, so you remember it. But I find it very odd that he's he puts up some weird tweets about stuff.
But the thing is, he's playing the character the right way.
He is.
And so I think he's doing a really good job with this, and we'll see where it goes. And hopefully, they put him into the right situations and allow him to help develop and make this character grow. So then we have a Finn Bálor and Ali versus RKO and Andrade.
Yeah.
Again, another match for what purpose?
Finn, Ali,
no one knows.
Randy and Andrade got it. I was kind of spacing off. I was reading Bray Wyatt's tweets, so I heard what you said, but I didn't hear what you said.
Well, and I don't understand why they have this match. Again, it's a match that's pointless. It's one of those matches that they're having that it's, if they were going to build storylines from it, okay, but there's no storylines that are going to build up from this. These are just the competitors that are going to be in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah. And
that's all it is.
So, Ollie and Finn get the win, and then after the match, Finn gets RKO'd, and Ollie ends up throwing Randy Orton out after he does that. Next we have the last two women that are announced from the Money in the Bank match. Up first, we have Ember Moon. Woohoo! One of my predictions became right. I predicted Bayley too. I said Bayley would make a lot of sense to go in there. But Ember Moon too. So we have those two. Cool. And then the last one, I was like, oh, let it be Liv Morgan. Please, oh please. I would like to see what she can do in the ring. Apparently not. It's got to be Carmella, because why not? You know, she's been Money in the Bank winner 2 times.
Well, she hasn't been used much in the ring either, so it's not like, you know, I don't understand why they're using her. Ember Moon has been kind of out, hasn't been around.
I think Ember Moon makes a lot of sense to go in this match.
So who knows? I don't know. Again, it's creating storylines.
Okay. Honestly, the only 2 in this match. All right, we got Natalya, we got Dana, we got Alexa, we've got Naomi, we've got, who else do we have? Carmella. We have Bayley, and we have Ember. Out of that's only 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who's the 8th one? There's supposed to be 8 in that match, aren't there?
Yeah.
Bayley. Oh, Mandy Woods. Yeah. See, she's super forgettable. So out of the 8 of those, the only 2 that make any sense to win whatsoever are Ember and Bayley.
Yep, but it's going to be Mandy or Alexa.
No, it isn't. Bayley's going to win.
Okay.
Because I have ideas.
Well, good thing you have ideas. Good, but WWE has different ideas.
So. Alexa's already won once.
Okay, so what? Doesn't mean anything. I'm telling you that's where they're setting this up.
Why? This is why this match is pointless, okay? There's no one in there who, quite frankly, deserves an opportunity at Money in the Bank or even a shot at the women's title right now.
Well, again,
there is no reason.
They didn't build any storylines, so it's tough to really sit here and say anything.
This is the worst Money in the Bank year ever that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's terrible.
But they didn't build storylines. Part of what makes it good.
They haven't built storylines before, though. The thing is, this is just terrible. But the people they chose to put in this match is terrible.
You can create storylines to put people in, or have some direction where you're going with people.
They could. They've never done that before, but it's just terrible. The people they chose, it's awful. The way...
Do they have a lot of options?
No, but they haven't... I don't even know. It's just terrible. The people they chose to put in this match, it's really bad. And this is the worst women's Money in the Bank I have seen over the last 3 years.
Well, do they have a lot
I
of
know
options?
that they don't have Becky and Charlotte right now. And those were 2 that were in the match the last 2 years. Because they weren't champion at the time. And they also had Sasha. But I don't think Sasha's ever been in a Money in the Bank match, has she? I don't know. But, you know...
Your options are limited on who you have.
And like I said, the 2 big ones that they've had in previous years that have made the match really good aren't in it because they're facing each other at Money in the Bank.
So that's what I'm saying.
So my question is, why could Bayley have not been the one to get an opportunity at Becky, and then Charlotte's in the Money in the Bank match? I know Charlotte then has an opportunity to win, but it probably would have drawn more interest into the Money in the Bank match than having a Becky versus Charlotte match for the 50,000th time for the title.
I don't know why they're doing the way they're doing it. I mean, like I said, it's there's no storylines there, so it's going to be the way it is.
It makes me really, really dislike the women's Money in the Bank
taking
match.
a step back, I wouldn't be shocked if they don't, the Finn Bálor and Randy Orton, if they don't pull them from Money in the Bank and make that an Intercontinental title match at Money in the Bank.
So then who do they put in their places?
I don't know.
Lars?
We'll see what happens.
Lars and Aleister?
We'll see what happens.
I thought Aleister Black was going to be in the Money in the Bank match.
Oh, well.
I thought it made sense.
Again, they just have him cutting promos.
So, but, yeah, apparently not. So, there's Ember and Carmella. They weren't announced, too. The only one, like I said, the only 2 that make a lot of sense to win would be Bayley or Ember. I think it's going to be Bayley, but, you know, who knows.
So then we have the Kevin Owens show. He is inviting Xavier Woods out. Calls out Woods.
He doesn't come out.
Doesn't come out. he basically
Mind you, he was attacked before in the show. So,
talks Woods. Kofi comes out after getting tired of hearing him trash talk Xavier Woods. And then he ends up going to the ring and attacking Kevin Owens.
Yep. It's pretty simple. I think it'll be a good match, Money in the Bank.
Probably. I think it's got a good shot to be a good match.
Now, does Kofi come out champion, though?
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know where they're going with it. I don't know the storylines again, or who knows?
Like, I mean, he's only been champion for a month, so I feel like why take the belt off him yet? I don't want to see Kevin as the champion, because I feel like, we've seen him as a champ before, and it's... So, I think Kofi should hold on to the championship a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Where's Daniel Bryan?
I don't know.
Where's Rowan? I heard a rumor that Bryan was out with an injury, possibly.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure, and so when Bryan's out with injuries, it's not good.
No.
So, I mean, I guess we'll just kind of have to see. But that was everything in total. So we have both Money in the Bank matches announced. Ricochet, McIntyre, Corbin, and Braun, Andrade, Finn, Orton, and Ali. Those are our men's competitors. And then we have Mandy and Bayley and Ember and Alexa and Natty and Dana and Naomi and Mella.
Yes, but keep in mind, card is subject to change.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to change the women's match.
I wouldn't be shocked if they do.
I would love if Sasha was in. I threw this out on Twitter today. I was in a conversation and I said, you know what they should have done? You know what they should do? They should leave one slot open and say, that competitor, we have all of our competitors announced, except for one. And then they don't announce it until Money in the Bank, the actual match, and then Sasha makes her return, and she wins it?
I don't know, because they have to do... I mean, with her, they're going to have to do something. I don't know what they do with her, but if she's gonna stay, they have to do something with her. If she's going to leave, then just don't, they won't include her in anything.
So I thought that would have been a good way to bring Sasha back. But,
and maybe she's not coming back.
I mean, maybe she's not. We'll just have to see. It's still kind of up in the air as to whether she is or not. So, like you said, I guess we'll just have to see.
Yep.
But I thought that would have been an inventive way. And I had a couple people that were like, honestly, I'd kind of like that better. Instead of announcing Sasha to be in that match, then why not just have her show up?
Yeah.
And we have a mystery competitor who nobody knows who it's going to be because it hasn't been announced yet. And then she shows up out of nowhere. Nobody's expecting it. And she wins.
Yeah.
Which would then lead into Becky versus Sasha, which is also something that people would like to see. And Becky said herself that she wants to have a match with Sasha on Twitter. So, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But, if Sasha's going to leave, then, like, she for reals is leaving, then... you can't do it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nope. I think that pretty much
except bribe her off with the title, like they did with the Revival.
Yeah. I think that covers pretty much everything for Raw and SmackDown. One news, a bit of information from AEW. Did we talk about them possibly having Chris Jericho stating that they're really close to getting ready to announce their TV show?
No.
Chris Jericho, I don't remember if he tweeted it or if he was on a podcast or in his podcast, talked about AEW is close to announcing who they're going to team up with for a TV show, weekly TV show. So that's some exciting news for AEW fans and just wrestling fans in general.
Yeah.
Also, if you have not seen the Double or Nothing promos on YouTube, go check them out because Cody Rhodes cut a pretty good promo talking about he took some shots at WWE, well, more specifically Triple H.
It was good. It was good. I thought it was good.
So, if you haven't seen that, go to YouTube.
I know
Double
some
or
people on
Nothing.
Twitter, they were like, oh, well, he didn't have to do that. But we were like, listening to Busted Open.
Well,
And
he
they were
took
like,
a
quite
the
honestly,
thing-
Triple H took a shot at Cody and AEW at the Hall of Fame. So it's not him trying to rip apart, WWE and Triple H. It's him retaliating. Like, nothing should have been said at the Hall of Fame about it.
No.
But there was.
Yes.
And it was uncalled for, and it wasn't cool. So
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, go check out,
You
Double or Nothing
also,
promos, because I tell you what, building storylines, AEW has done a really good job of building storylines. They haven't had a match. They've sold out Chicago with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. They have sold out Las Vegas without, having TV backing. They get a TV show. It's the sky's the limit for where AEW can go.
also the match, Cody Rhodes is supposed to have a match, and it was announced that it's going to be Dustin Rhodes.
Yes.
That was announced last week or the week before.
I think we announced that last week.
I don't remember.
Because we talked about him in red and black, and the black meant
Gold
something
Dust
and the
leaving.
red meant
Yeah,
something.
I think we did talk about it, but
And
whatever.
he put
It's
the
out
gold
there.
dust suit in.
Cody is having a match against Dustin at
Yes.
Double or Nothing. So, I don't remember if we talked about that or not. It was weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So yeah.
with that, I think we're going to take off. We'll be back tomorrow for NXT.
Yep. Curious to see what's going to happen.
We'll see what matches there actually will be on NXT tomorrow.
Yeah.
See if Dominic Dijakovic is...
Why you said his name right?
I know,
You never say his name
It's
right.
amazing.
Never, ever do you ever,
So
ever,
with that,
ever say
peace
his name
out.
right.
We will see you
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.